Okay, so these are actually the problems that we saw with the JK flip-flops. Okay, so let us moving on further. We talk about the concept of first of all the asynchronous inputs in our flip-flops. Now there are actually two asynchronous inputs in our flip-flop. Asynchronous means again like they can be set independently of the other inputs. So like first of all let me draw the diagram of the JK flip-flop again. Sorry. Now these my preset and clear are actually the asynchronous inputs. Okay. So now why actually they are called asynchronous? Let us see how. In short, I call these this I call as PR and this I call as CLR. Okay. Now sorry. If I take say PR as 0 and my CLR as 1. Right. So now if my any of the input to the NAND gate is 1, oh sorry, any of the input of the NAND gate is 0, output will definitely be 1. Okay. Now if I take PR as 0, CLR is 1. Okay. So now my Q will be 1. Q1 means Q bar has to be 0. That means with my value of preset as 0, I can set my flip-flop independent of the values of J and K. Alright. If again I have PR as 1 and CLR as 0. Now what? CLR as 0, so Q bar will be 1. Q bar being 1 means Q has to be 0. So with my CLR value as 1, CLR value as 0, so my Q is actually 0. So now what do I do actually? If I draw the block diagram, you can actually see that this is my clock. Now I'll put a NOT gate over here. Why I put in a NOT gate? Because these PR and CLR are actually called my active low inputs. Remember active low, active high when we did the decoders. So active low means they are actually performing the function whenever their value is 0, or the desired function is performed whenever their value is low or 0. So if I have PR as 0, so my Q will be 1 independent of the value of J and K or the previous values of Q. And similarly if my CLR is 0, so my Q will be 0. Please remember please remember these things because these will be making use in the design of the counters that we do in the application of flip-flops. Alright. So moving on further, actually there is another concept of flip-flops that is actually called the triggering of flip-flops. Triggering of flip-flop means that when is my flip-flop actually working, performing the function. Triggering can be actually of those two types. Okay, it can be either like okay. So first of all, I will categorize this as either the level triggered or the edge triggered. Okay, and level and edge are further actually classified as positive or the negative. Similar analogy exists over, partition exists over here. Now, what is the idea of actually positive level triggered, negative level triggered, positive edge triggered, or negative edge triggered? Actually, the concept is we saw right now in our JK flip flop design. We have J and K. This was actually the clock. We have the output Q and Q bar, isn't it? Whenever the clock value has to 1, so our flip flop will work according to the truth table. If the clock becomes 0, so flip flop does not work. Now, what if I complement the clock before applying? Okay. Now you can actually see, if my clock is 0, then my flip flop will work. If my clock is 1, so it will not work. So these two are actually corresponding to the classification of positive level trigger. This actually belongs to the classification of negative level trigger. Alright, level means like if my clock is there, so it is actually a train of pulses. So this is actually my, all are positive levels. These all are positive levels. Alright, and all these are negative levels. Similarly, this and this. Okay. So during this duration, my flip flop actually generates the output. That is according to the truth table of the flip flop. Alright. Now, what is the concept of actually edge triggering? Edge actually, let us see, if I have actually my clock something like this. Sorry. So this is my train of pulses of the clock that is there. This time duration, actually when my value of the pulse becomes 1 from 0 or 0 to 1 that goes. So this duration is actually, or this is actually called the positive edge, or we call it as rising edge. Similarly, when its value goes from 1 to 0, so this is actually called the falling edge or the negative edge. Now, actually certain amount of time is actually lapsed in case it goes from 0 to 1 or goes from 1 to 0. Alright, so in this duration actually my lapse takes place, or the flip flop actually works or generates output according to the truth table. Okay, so these type of flip flops are actually called the edge triggered ones. That can be designed using the capacitors or certain circuits like this. Okay, so how do I actually show in the block diagram that my flip flop is actually in edge triggered or level triggered? You can actually see these are actually the level triggered ones. The positive level triggered, the negative level triggered. In case of an edge triggered, in case let us take the example of a positive edge triggered, we actually show a slight cut or the bend into the block diagram. Alright, so this is what is called a positive edge trigger, and it works whenever the rising edge of the clock comes. Alright, and similarly we can show our negative edge trigger also. Sorry. So this is a knot that is applied, so this becomes a negative, and a cut has been shown, so this is actually a negative edge trigger. So sorry. So my flip flop actually generates output whenever the clock cycle value falls from 1 to 0. Alright, this is actually the meaning of the triggering of the flip flops. Okay. Now let us moving on further. We have seen the truth tables of the flip flops, but another very important aspect of the flip flops is their excitation tables. Alright, what is actually the difference? We'll just see in a little while. in case of our truth tables, we know the value of the inputs. That is, they either being SR, they being JK, D or T, and we are actually predicting the output. Here in case of excitation table, the case is opposite. Okay, over here we actually know the outputs, that is their present state value and the next state values, and we want to predict what can be the value of the input. Alright, so let us see how. Since there are two values, so we have 4 combinations. Now with these values available, that is the present state and the next state, we actually want to predict what can be the value of S and R. That may lead to these outputs actually. This is what is the basic difference between an excitation table and a truth table. Okay, so let us see how. Now since my next state value is 0, okay, let me first of all draw the truth table also of the SR flip-flop for your reference. This is QT01 and this is actually not different. So now first of all, my next state value is 0, that is Qt plus 1 is 0. That can be attained if I look at the truth table. So that can be attained only and only in case S is 0 and R is 1. That is, we have value of S is 0 and R is 1, then only my next state can be 0. Alright, by looking at the second row. Sorry. Now another very important aspect is that my Qt plus 1 is equal to Qt. You can see both are 0, isn't it? So by looking at the truth table, that can be attained only and only if S is 0 and R is also 0. Alright. These we see are the conditions that exist simultaneously. And from these actually we can make out that my S has to be definitely 0. Sorry, R can be either 0 or 1. So it does not affect my circuit. So what do I come up with? That my S has to be definitely 0. R can be either 0 or 1, so I put in a don't care over here. Cross as a don't care, we saw in the K-maps. Alright? Okay, let us fill for 0, 1. Now my next state value is 1, so that can be attained only and only in case my S is 1 and R is 0. And no such combination exists for Qt or Qt plus being complement of each other. So only possibility is 1, 0. Over here, now in case this is 0, 1, a similar analysis, because next state value is 0, so that can be possible only in case we look at the second row, that is S has to be 0, R has to be 1. Now over here, what do I see? Both are 1. So first of all, my Qt plus 1 is 1. So that can be possible only by looking at the third row. So S has to be 1, R has to be 0, definitely. Also both are same, so S has to be 0, R has to be 0. So definitely you can see that my S can be anything, R has to be a 0. So this is the excitation table for my SR. Okay. Now let us move on further and like we add on into this my JK. Now again for your reference, I will make the truth table for JK flip-flop. Now over here, first of all again my Qt and Qt plus 1. First of all the next state value is 0. So my J and K have to be definitely 0 and 1. Now again both of them are equal, so that has to be 0, 0. This is according to the second row, this is according to the first row. So again by done in the case of SRR, this has to be 0 and don't care. Simple. Now what about the second case? Let us see how. Since my next state value is 1, so my JK has to be 1, K has to be 0. Okay, J1, K0 because next state value is Qt plus 1 is 1. Now in case my, you can also see over here at Qt plus 1 is Qt bar, isn't it? That is a complement. So this is the condition that exists in the last row, that is both of them have to be 1. This was actually not earlier existing in the case of SNR. Alright, so from over here we can see K has to be definitely 1. Oh sorry, J has to be definitely 1. He can be either 0, 1, so I put him in row K. Alright, so working in a similar way for the next 2 rows also, I can fill in the values. Alright, this is what I get. Now, what about the value of D and T? Let me complete the table. Now for the value of D, whatever the value of my D, that is exactly the same as the value of my next state. So whatever the value of next state, that is my value of D. This is 0, 1, 0, 1. Isn't it? And what about the value of T? In case both are same, then my T value is 0. In case they are complement of each other, so T is 1. Whereas if T is 1, so Qt plus 1 is Qt bar. In case T is 0, so Qt plus 1 is Qt. From the truth table of T, if you remember. Okay, so this is 1 and this is 0. Now what is actually the use of these? We can actually fill our, or we can derive the equations of the circuits also from this. This will be definitely used further in the next class. Alright. So in our next class we will be talking about the applications, that is the counters of the flip-flops and the shift registers. Counters we will be talking all types, that is up counters, down counters, up, down, decades and things like that. Similarly shift registers we will be talking about serial shift registers and universal shift register. And okay, so friends, thank you so much for watching, and in case of any problem you can write down to me on my email ID, that is Gupta Prashant 1986 @gmail.com. Alright, so thank you for watching.